I am so excited because this year for me is a very, very particularly special year. Maybe with time you will get to know, but my big 50 is in 2023. So you guys be getting ready for October. And now you can start packing my gifts for October, okay? So I'll keep you posted when it comes to time. Again, welcome to another episode of this amazing program, The Waiting Room with Zyna, the street edition. As you know, it's been blowing off the hooks, and people have been watching, commenting, and all of that. And I want to thank all of you that have stayed with us through 2022, and you have been watching, commenting, calling us, encouraging us, and even sharing our posts. Thank you so much. God bless you. As we have entered this 2023 together, we shall all see the end of it. And every waiting woman who watches this program and those who will start watching later, I believe that this year your testimony shall be complete. And please, help me to spread this word to everyone you know who is in the waiting room. Talk to them, men, women, husbands, wives, everybody. Talk to them about this program. Share, comment, and send them every episode you have seen. Okay, direct them to the Zyna TV on YouTube so they will watch the previous episodes and follow us for more. Okay, hit that notification button and don't miss any other episode. Don't forget, we always come to you on Fridays by 7 p.m. Central African time, but of course you can always click that link and watch all the episodes as anytime you choose. Okay, now today we have a very beautiful dimension to our episode. We have two topics in one. We are discussing something. We're discussing the first one, and that has to do with people who have waited. We're asking them, as you know, we always go to the streets and we ask them, have you waited? So today we have gone on the street and we have asked a few people if they have waited. They are going to tell us their experience, and after that we also ask them about the options. Okay, so they are going to share from their experiences and the experiences of others as they know. So follow me, guys, as we go to watch. But before then, don't forget to place your order for Zyna's Waiting Room. That is the book that gave rise to this program. So don't forget to order yours. Now follow me as we watch and hear what the people have to say.
Well, I waited for like 2 years, but on the way, God answered my prayers and blessed me. So I did not experience anything from my in-laws, from friends, from my husband's friends. I didn't experience anything.
This for 6 years now I got married. And since then, God has been doing faithful things for me. As long as I'm alive, very healthy, putting my trust in God and sure that one day God is going to remember my condition. As I'm waiting, I keep waiting upon the Lord. Whatever anything that people are saying, I still keep myself looking up to God, that God is going to answer my prayer. And that has been my strong faith.
For this guy, sir, I'm sure you are watching. Please, I don't know if you have been to the hospital, because it's one thing to wait, it's another to actually find out why you're waiting. If you have not, please go to the hospital with your wife and have the doctors run all the tests. Just go and meet a good gynecologist. You can go to National Hospital or any of these general hospitals, government hospitals. They will give you the best care. Okay, they can run tests and tell you what the problem is, so that we don't just sit down and wait endlessly. Let's at least know the reason why we're waiting. Let's watch more.
As I'm standing, I cannot say I'm like a victim, but I've passed through some of those processes. Because I think after my first issue, the second issue was okay, but after that, I went into a period of waiting. And as an educated person, I didn't just sit. I had to go to the hospital to begin to look for solutions. Because before then, a lot of people will come and start advising you. Some will say go to the hospital, some will say go for a herbalist, some will say go for the traditional, some will tell you a lot of advices. But as a Christian, as a child of God, I sorted for medical advice and I was told of so many options. After undergoing tests, series of tests, I went through the tubes test, which I was discovered to have one of the tubes was blocked. I went also through the womb test. They had to check the womb, X-ray, to find if the womb was fit. All those ones. So medically, when that thing is short, the doctors will advise you. You cannot take in, or you may take in, but or you may have time. In my own case, they say it may take time. But if I want it immediately because of age, there are options. So I sorted for the options. And they gave me some options. One was like IUI, they call it insemination, where the man's sperm will be inseminated into the woman. That is, they will just do one check. They will check your what you call this period of they will check from your last menstruation. They will check and advise you on when that process can take on. So that IUI is insemination. They will just take the sperm just close to the woman so that she can take in. Then there's one we call the IVF. That one, they fertilize the child outside, maybe in a tube, put it inside the woman. Then we have the surrogate. Then you have the abduction. All those options were given. And the doctors advise that the best options is that IUI and the IVF, because the woman will take in and you give birth to the child as your own. But for the surrogate, those ones is still good, but there may be consequences later. For the adoption, that one is also good, but there will be consequences. But they are all options.
I love what this woman just said. She talked about her being a Christian and, of course, being an educated person. Please, 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 that you're a Christian or a Muslim or a spiritual person or someone who is a spiritualist, or you have spiritualists in your family, does not stop you from going to the hospital. Please, your job is to find out why you are waiting. Don't ever underestimate the power of the medical field. Let them know why you're waiting. Imagine for someone who has just blocked tube. Blockage of tube is not something that it doesn't take much to treat. Sometimes they flush it, sometimes they did what the doctors did for her, which was the ICU. They just bypassed it and took the sperm, close to the womb, so that the fertilization can happen. So instead of the sperm attempting to swim through the tube that was blocked, they bypassed the tube and deposited the sperm right there to give her a 99% chance of taking in, and it worked for her. So that's why you need to go to the hospital. When they find out the problem, they will know exactly what to advise you to do. Let's watch.
Something that has to do with waiting for blessing of the womb. It only takes the grace of God. Because there are times, I'm telling you, when you are in a hurry, you miss it. And like me, I was just telling our mommy here that my two children, I had to wait for 5 years. I was telling her the first son, the second one, I waited for another 5 years. My issue was blockage of the tube. The second and the third, I had to be taken to theater for surgery. They will flush my tube before I will take in. Sometimes they feel as if I don't want to, but because God's time is the best. But I thank God, after flushing, I took in. But I have an example of someone that, as a result of waiting, her husband had to return her back home because of what? In-laws were disturbing them. He was not patient enough. So he had to take her back to her parents. He chartered a car, took her back home, and as God will have it, she stayed at home. Someone married her. Today she is a mother of 3 boys, to the glory of God. So it now bounced back on her former husband that he was the problem. But he didn't know, and he sent her packing. He even took her home. But thank God today she is a mother of 3 boys. So sometimes it is good to be patient. And another thing, sometimes in-laws, they will say, this one, she only knows how to eat food. There's nothing in her. There's nothing. Lack of patience. But I thank God some men that love their wives, they don't always listen to them. They believe that God is everything.
Wow, you've heard it. You see, the fact that you are waiting does not stop you from going to the hospital, okay? The fact that you are praying, you're fasting, you're believing God doesn't stop you from going to the hospital. So as you are believing God and you're hoping to get the children, also find out why you're waiting. And don't be in a hurry to send her packing. Most times it is the men that actually have the issues. But if they don't know, they don't go to the hospital, they will not be able to find out. So now I want us to listen to some other people's ideas, and some of them will still come back and give us their own opinion on the options concerning this waiting room. Some of them have gone through the options, some have heard about it from other people. So let's watch and hear what they have to say concerning the options that are out there and available to the waiting couple.
We have IVF, we have surrogacy, and adoption too is also an alternative means to have your own children.
You must not have your own biological children, but you have your neighbors, you have your relations, you have your brothers. If you take one of your brother's child and take care of him, has become your own child. Eventually, God in his infinite mercy, because God looks at the heart, not at the outward appearance we see, or the appearance of the outer things, activities we do. God sees the heart that blesses people. So if you take care of other children, definitely God is going to take care of you. So we have adoption, we have brother to brother relation that you can take and keep. We have neighbors that you can you have neighbors that you can take care of them, and many ways.
Okay, before I allow this man talk, I just want to say something about the brother to brother adoption thing. Listen, I'm not against it, okay? You can take relatives. I have one in my house right now I'm taking care of, but I still have my daughter, okay? So don't misquote me. It is very good to take care of family members, children, and all of that, but your own, is your own. I'm just saying, because you cannot depend on, you can't make plans on what you cannot control. You don't know how tomorrow is going to be. Sometimes it ends, so in certain ways that you didn't expect. Sometimes it ends well. So whatever you're doing, make sure that you're not expecting too much. Live a good life and do whatever you want to do for anybody, and have an open heart. But if you can, get one child for yourself, the one that is your own. While you are taking care of every other person's child, have your own child. From experience, I'm telling you, that's the best. So while you're taking care of every other person's child, still have yours. Even if you're going to go through adoption or IVF or surrogacy, whatever, make sure that you have your own child, the one that is your own child, that is bearing your name, and that adoption is legal. Okay, I would advise you to go and do that. Let's listen.
You can reproduce yourself in various ways, even in your profession, in your faith life, and in anything God has brought you into this world to fulfill. So if you reproduce there, that is also your own children. So don't give up hope. Don't allow anybody to put you down.
It's always tense when they are being mocked for not having children. But they have ways to live with children by adopting from social welfare, by bringing their relations' children to live with them, and by being open to everyone. And they must, what they're supposed to do first is what they have been mocked, let them take it to God.
I believe in this life there is nothing God cannot do. Once you believe in God, in any situation that you find yourself, as long as you hope on the Most High God, the day the thing will happen, you can spend a lot of money on all these things. But once God's intervention is not there, all things you are doing is vain.
So on the other way that people going to get children, if you go to Babalawo or Abalis or any Mami water, the moment they give you a child, you'll be worshiping them. They'll be taking return from you. That child will not be useful for you. It will be to their kingdom. But when you wait for God, God Himself will give you a suitable child that will listen to you, that will be yours forever, that will stay with you to the end of your life. And those adoption to me is okay, sir. Why? Because sometimes in life, the parent of the man may not be able to obey it. They'll be worrying about the wife, don't have baby, don't do this. Except if they're fat where they are. They're in London, outside country, they can have peace of them. But if they're within themselves, they will not be comfortable. Adopting a child is good. Through that adopting a child that they adopt, God can visit them. And it's when they take care of that child, God will quickly visit them in time. You must not maltreat that child or that baby. Take her or him like your child, your bones baby. Those that do IVF, I think, well, to me, it's okay. But it shouldn't be as same direct as God is giving it to a man. This is a kind of, we call it a Igbo making, or how we do it. We do mathematics. It's mathematics.
First and foremost, this couple should visit the hospital to seek for medical attention, maybe to go through tests and all that. And after that, one can adopt children, and then there's what they call IVF also in the hospital. The doctors can also advise that. There are alternative ways. Though children are a gift from God, there's nobody that can manufacture the child. It's only God that gives children. But if you happen to be a couple that you have waited and you cannot wait longer, there are ways of adoption. You go to social welfare of your state, your local government. You go there and you follow the right process and the child will be given to you. So many people that I know that have passed through that stage, God has blessed them with children.
The alternative, there are many. They can adopt a child. They can adopt child or children, number that they want, or you can take from your relative too, or you can do IVF.
It's not easy for a poor man, except for adoption. This one, they will just go maybe seek for a relation, which is not always easy. I know a friend that did adoption from a family. She trained the child became a medical doctor. And when the child became a doctor, the child said that what they had an issue with the adopted mother. And one day he just said that, you are not my mother, let me just go back to my mother. That woman that I'm talking to you, she's still devastated. So you see issues of adoption with relations. And those are the only option for a poor man. The best adoption is to maybe go to a motherless home or so. And those ones, like I'm telling you, I have found out they are in millions. So we want to advise couples to see trust God. You know, some of them is just impatience. I have seen people that have waited naturally for years and God has visited them. So it's not as if God cannot do it. God has done it before. Natural conception after many years, 20 years. I know a woman in my church. After 20 years, she didn't go anywhere. She just continued to trust God. After 20 years, she had it naturally without any medical listing. She just trusted God. So God can still do it. Then for in-laws that have money, instead of talking, if they want to help them medically, they should give them money. They should show some love. Then for the government, I don't know why the government is so quiet about it. Or maybe because mostly it's the private doctors that do these things. Maybe because of their money, so they have not made it, they decide to make it publicly. So I want to advise that if the government can help to subsidize, let it become an issue that the government will be advised. If there's any way they can subsidize these rates so that they can help these couples to have children, because most of them, they have become like laughing stock in the society.
Yeah, in this case now, I really support what this lady has said. And the last point she made about government. So please, if you're watching this and you are close to any government authority of any kind, please, 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 let's use this opportunity to keep begging the government to step in into this issue of adoption, because adoption is free supposedly from the states, but there are charges that people pay and they are exorbitant. So however the government can step in and help, it will be really, really appreciated.
Thank God for technology. God has blessed them with the knowledge, and I have seen a couple that waited for 7 years. They are parents of triplets today, growing together to the glory of God. And there are alternatives. I know of my brother, even though he's late, he passed through that challenge. They mocked him, but finally they went to. I called them. They came to my place. My husband took them to hospital. After series of examinations, they tested, and his sperm count is low. So that was how he was uh, diagnosed, and gave him drugs. He went through medication. Today he is late, but he left 3 children to the glory of God. There is nothing impossible with God. Our God is possible, and he can do anything to those that trust him.
There are options to having kids in a couple that has been waiting. What I feel is that they can adopt. They can adopt. And in the process of adopting, I know that there are also challenges that come with that. At times, it's even better to adopt somebody from somewhere you don't know, because we found out that children that are adopted from the family or relations, after some time, you start hearing stories, and then it becomes an issue. But there are families that have succeeded in that. You pick from the relations, and then you're able to train that child, and he becomes your own. But my main advice is that you can go to an orphanage where you have a child that does not have any parents that you know. And I think, just as mommy has said, also the IVF also has been so helpful.
Wow, you've heard it from them. Um, and they have said it all. The last point, considering the last set of people talking about the options, they did mention a lot of things. They mentioned IVF, they mentioned adoption, they mentioned surrogacy, and of course, most of them, even when they are talking about adoption, the most important thing about it, for some people that are open, to adopting, the most part is the money. For the people who can't afford it, it's too expensive for them, and that's why we're begging the government, however they can, come in to help. And for those who are adopting family members and all that, well, I support one woman that said, if a family member is worried about the brother or the sister not having children, contribute money for them, help them and support them, let them go and adopt. I mean, adoption is also expensive abroad. Even in America, I know a lot of stories where families want to adopt. They actually open a kind of fund, and then they ask family and friends to donate, and they donate and they contribute money for them, and they are able to adopt. Okay, so you can do that to help them, because this brother adopt brother's child kind of adoption is never 100% okay. At the end of the day, if anything happens or there's a quarrel in the family, there's always that divide. So I would suggest that if you're adopting, you should do it, blind adoption is better than having to take in a brother, because that's not really adoption. You're just taking your brother's kid to raise for him, and then you expect that child to be yours. No, the child is not yours, it's your brother's child. So, but if you are going to adopt, go around it the right way so that you adopt for you, and at the end of the day, the child is yours and yours alone, and then you people can train that child and inculcate the whole family around them. Okay, so thank you for watching. I hope that you have learned a lot from these ladies and these guys, because I have learned a lot from them, and I'm so happy that we have people like this in our society walking around and hopefully impacting lives. And I want to thank everyone that came on the show to advise us. Everyone, thank you, mans, thank you, dads, We love you, and I pray that for those of you who are still waiting, God will answer your prayers, okay? And for those who have gone through, please keep spreading the love. And for all of you who are watching, don't do this alone. Call up your people, share, let them know about this program. Comment, share, like, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Zyna TV on YouTube. And make sure that this 2023, you just have this habit of joining us every Friday, okay? When we drop our new videos, please don't wait for only Fridays. You can come anytime to our YouTube channel and watch all our previous episodes. We always come to you on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Instagram. Click on that link in bio and watch all the previous episodes. We'll see you again next Friday. From me to you is Zyna. Love you. Bye.